And welcome back to Sprinters for our final game of today's round 4 Statewide Stampede hosted by East Vic Roller Derby. In this game we have the Southsea Banshees up against the Breaking News, which is a mash-up team between Westside Roller Derby and Northeast Roller Derby. This is going to be a return to Derby for a couple of people, such as the Banshees 1-3 Grim, and number 3 for Breaking News, Ali Mentor. They are returning back for their first game in quite a while. And it's also the debut for Breaking News' 9-6 Raw Power. So plenty of cheers for returning and debuting. We have approximately 30 seconds until the game starts. I am Judy Bench, and I am your commentator for today. While we have a couple of seconds, I'm going to quickly run through our skating rosters. For Southsea, we have Bonnie, 8-6, Freddie Mercury, 1-2, Princess, 3-1-3, Grim, Reaper, 1-3, Monk, 8-8, Smiles, 5-0-0, Westy, 0-1, Chaos, 2-4, Calamity Payne, 77, Scooby Doom, 2-6-4, Bombshell, 0-3-0, Fleabag, 4-0-4, M-Dog, 9-9-9, Vicious Citrus, 8-3, Spendy, 1-0-5-4, and for the Breaking News, while we're just waiting to see if the rolling whistle starts. Just checking to see what's about to happen. I'll go through the Breaking News team as soon as I can. All the officials just checking that everyone's in position. There's the rolling whistle. And lining up for the first jam, we have 030 Bombshell in red, up against 531 Smiling Assassin in blue, black. Bombshell with lead. Assassin being pushed out at the top of the pack, managing to re-enter legally. Quick 4 points from Bombshell, calling it off as Assassin managed to get out on their initial pass. Jam's been called. So while we've got this time, the Breaking News. We have Nuclear Force Out 174, Intensive Clear Unit 212, Elemental 3, Tempe Tantrum 433, Jackrabbit 45, Liza Minelli 517, Smiling Assassin 531, Detention 81, and I'll come back to the rest of them in a moment. Lining up now, we have Dolly in black, and we have Fleabag in the red. Fleabag picking up lead, Dolly right behind. A fast pack as everyone tries to get to the front for points protection. Jam called off, 2 points picked up for Fleabag. And 1 point there for Breaking News. Lining up now, we have M-Dog in the red, up against Tempe Tantrum in the black. M-Dog picking up lead quickly. M-Dog picking up points. Tempe now out on their initial pass. And M-Dog calling it off there to protect points. I believe that was a 7-point jam for M-Dog, taking the scores to the Banshees on 13, Breaking News on 1. And we have Vicious Citrus in the red, lining up against Smiling Assassin in the black. Both jammers being held by very strong tripods. And Assassin picking up lead for the Breaking News. Citrus out on their initial. And Smiling Assassin with the call off there, picking up 3 points. I'll just finish out the roster for Breaking News. We have Dolly 818, Massacre Jones 89, Keza Kapow 95, and Raw Power in their debut 96. Lining up now we have Spendy in the red up against Dolly in the black. Spendy picking up lead. Dolly sneaking through on the outside for their initial. Some beautiful offense on the inside by Chaos and Westy for Spendy to be able to get through, pick up 4 points before calling it off. Oh, 3 points, not 4 points. I'm going to assume there was a no pass, no penalty, or someone points protected at the front. Lining up now, we have Tempe Tantrum in black up against Bombshell in the red. So while it's not Tempe's debut, they are still a relatively new skater and they're going up against a very solid tripod there at the front. Lots of experience in that tripod, doing well. Really forcing them to work. And getting through for lead. Bombshell through on their initial pass. Jonesy calling them to move up, move up, move up, get the pack rolling. And that worked perfectly for Tempe, managing to weave their way through and calling it off. That was a 4-point pass. Scores are now 16 to the Banshees and 8 points for Breaking News. I believe we have an official timeout. Officials just double checking everything. And we have Smiling Assassin in the black up against Fleabag in the red. cut penalty given to Fleabag, allowing Smiling Assassin to get through. Unfortunately, not a lead in this game, as Smiling Assassin had already taken the star off their head, so this is a 2-minute jam. Fleabag back on track, managing to get through for their initial pass. Smiling Assassin, having picked up 4 points, is back in the pack to score more. Fleabag taking the inside line, getting through for their first scoring point. As I mentioned, there is no lead in this jam. Both jammers are free to score as they go. And in a reverse of fate, Fleabag is now on a power jam as Smiling Assassin cut track and has been directed to the penalty box. Jam came to its natural conclusion there. That was a huge jam for both teams, with 16 points there for Fleabag and 10 points for Smiling Assassin. And the Banshees have sent out M-Dog to take the power jam. And they've picked up a lead. Smiling Assassin has returned to track. M-Dog picking up points. M-Dog trying to do a little bit of an apex there, missing it, resetting, getting through. And a star pass has now occurred, so Jackrabbit now with the star. And on that last pass, M-Dog managing to pick up 1 point, taking it to a 9-point jam. Taking it to 41 for the Banshees and 18 for Breaking News. We now have Fisher Citrus lining up in the red, up against Dolly in the black. Penalties getting the best of the jammers. We now have Dolly out on a power jam, picking up lead for Breaking News with Citrus in the penalty box. I do love watching Dolly jam. The awareness on track is just amazing. Drawback there by Kay. Citrus back on track, picking up their initial pass. And I do believe that we are now on a power jam for Citrus. So this will be a 2-minute jam. Good offense there by Calamity Payne. Citrus picking up 4 points. Another 4 points there to Vicious Citrus. Dolly back on track, fighting their way through a very solid wall. And at the end of that 2-minute jam, Dolly picking up another 4 points. So 22 points for Breaking News, 51 for the Banshees. We now have Spendy in red up against Temper Tantrum in the black. Spendy ducking under the arms of the Banshees tripod to get quickly up to the front of the engagement zone. Tempe doing very well at moving the tripod forward of the Banshees at the back of the pack and managing to break their way through, picking up lead. Spendy trying very hard to get through the Breaking News tripod, waiting for some offense. Liza, Jack and Raw making it very difficult for Spendy to get through on their initial. But at the back we've got Frad, Princess and Monk making it very difficult for Tempe. Siebes on the bench with the call off yell. Tempe taking the advice, picking up 4 points and calling it off. Smiling Assassin in black up against Bombshell in red. Bombshell out for lead. And a cut penalty being given to Smiling Assassin. Bombshell managing to keep their feet, picking up 4 points. Through for another 4 points there. Smiling Assassin back on track. Bombshell sneaking through there for another 4 points. The star had hit the floor from Smiling Assassin, but managed to pick it up and do a sneaky star pass. So we have Nuclear Force out now as the jammer for Breaking News. the call off there. That was a 20-point jam there for Bombshell, just extending that lead, 71 to 26. Dolly back out there for breaking news, up against Fleabag for the Banshees. Both jammers trying to take the inside line and being rejected by the massive blockers. If I'm going to take a guess, I'm going to say that Jonesy was making life very difficult for Fleabag at the front. And Monk making it difficult for Dolly. Fleabag with lead, Dolly right behind on their initial. And one blocker apiece in their penalty box. Dolly picking up 2 points there. Good awareness by Siebes to point out the penalty box had one skater. And as there was only one team currently on the track, team timeout has been called by Siebes for breaking news. And we have a little huddle happening. So I do believe we've had a couple of comments asking in regards to the track at the moment. For those who haven't actually been skating on the track today, there is no rope. So it is making it a little bit difficult for jammers to actually know when they've gone out. So they're doing pretty well there, but that does attribute to some of those penalties that the jammers have been sitting and the amount of power jams. Timeout is over. Everyone getting back into position. We've got Temper Tantrum up against M-Dog. M-Dog with a quick lead, but Tempe with a lovely little spin there, coming through not far behind. And call off there. 4 points to M-Dog, 0 for Tempe. Lining up now, we have Smiling Assassin in black and Citrus in red. Slight pack advantage to the Banshees, but that's going to come to an end very quickly. Citrus picking up lead. Beautiful star pass there from Smiling Assassin to Jackrabbit. I'm just going to say, Mick, we need points for Mick, hypodermic. While I have the microphone in house, just getting the points call. Spendy is up against Dolly. Dolly getting the lead for the breaking news. Spendy out on their initial now. Dolly picking up a quick 4 points there, taking advantage to the with two blockers in the penalty box for the Banshees. They picked up all 4 points there because of the not on track. We've now got Tempe up against Bombshell. Bombshell with a quick lead. Big hit right at the front by Jack Rabbit for breaking news. One point apiece there. Scores now 78 to the Banshees, 33 for breaking news, and we have 7.5 minutes left of this half. All 8 blockers on track. Smiling Assassin up against Fleabag. Fleabag picking up lead. Smiling Assassin out on their initial. Hit out and run back from Nuclear Force out, drawing Fleabag back and making the call before any points could be picked up for breaking news. A little bit of discussion down the back before working out points awarded to the Banshees. 3 points there for Banshees, taking them to 81, breaking news 33. M-Dog up against Dolly. Once again, both jammers taking a preference of the inside line to hit first. M-Dog getting lead. Dolly now out on their initial pass. Countdown by Harm for the call-off. Almost got missed. And I believe that was a 2 apiece. And on the live stream, you just missed the beautiful signal of 2 apiece from both jams refs. I believe we now have Citrus up against Tempe. A couple of skaters losing their feet. Beautiful hit out there. I believe that was Nuclear Force out, living up to their name, forcing jammers out. Both blocker packs are just locking down on the jammer, making it very difficult for anyone to get some speed up, to get through. and jam has been called off. So the half will continue shortly. For those watching the live stream, the injured skater is up and over getting first aid treatment. They're fine. Do want to shout out the amazing first aiders again, keeping everyone as safe and healthy as they possibly can for a full contact sport. Spendy in red, Smiling Assassin in black, jam is on, Spendy with lead, couple of bodies hitting the floor. Smilers on their initial pass. Jam has been called. 4 points picked up to Spendy. Okay, and we've got an official review, so I'm going to go and sticky beak. Actually just sent bullseye in, making, as the general pain direction has gone, making bullseye pull their weight. So I'm just waiting for everything to be finalised, but that was a official review called by Breaking News, and it was in regards to a second penalty that had been issued to Massacre Jones. That second penalty has been overridden, and Jonesy will be eligible to return after only serving 30 seconds in the penalty box. We now have Bombshell up against Dolly. Bombshell with lead. Dolly doing a little bit of fifth blocker as Bombshell came back into the pack. Bombshell picking up 4 points. Dolly now out on their initial. Bombshell with the call off, picking up 4 points on that pass. So Banshees are now 95, Breaking News 35, just on 2 minutes remaining for this half. Tempe Tantrum up against Fleabag. Fleabag through very quickly to pick up lead. Tempe getting accidentally blocked by one of their own blockers. Cut penalty assigned to a Fleabag there. So this will be a 2-minute jam. Tempe picking up 4 points there. In for another scoring pass as Fleabag has returned to track. Fleabag with 2 to beat at the front. Jack Wright making it very difficult. A nice backward skate through there from Fleabag. And Tempe managing to work their way through the 2 hits that they got, picking up 4 points, and we are back to another power jam for Tempe. And that was the end of the 2-minute jam there, taking us to intermission. Oh, we have an official review right on the end there. So I'm just waiting for everything to be finalised before we talk about this official review. Okay, so everything has been deliberated. We're going into intermission. So just quickly, that official review was looking at one of the penalties assigned to the Banshees jammer, trying to get it overturned. Unfortunately, not successful. So that will be breaking news going into the half, knowing that when the second half starts, they will be starting on a power jam. They also managed to pick up 12 points in that final jam there, taking the scores, breaking news, 47, Banshees 103. And we'll be back in about 14 minutes. A little bit under that, so we can start talking about what's going on.
she comes, the rise, the mountain highs again. Again and again. This girl is ready to get back on the set. It's easy to tell that she's a pro. This girl is getting out of control. The boys don't know hear her peaks and jumps as she wiggle with her head. The light shine, reaching out to the stars. So easy to tell that she's a pro. This girl is getting out of control. Say my name, groovy 한 걸음걸이 거울 앞에 서봐 누가 제일 핫해. Look at me now so savage. 빛이 나 언제나 뜨겁게 떠올라. All day 깊이 빠져들지. 내 같으면 분위기가 up. 너도 나를 원해 감추지 마 절대. 한 입에 없는 캔디처럼 중독돼. Let's make it loud. 오늘 밤에 미쳐 돌아가. Rhythm 위에 춤춰 걷지 말고 follow. Let me hear you say. 이건 warning time. 거침없이 더 올라가. 내 머릿속에 deep inside you. Hey, say my name. 입에 다 감겨 just like bubblegum. 더 크게 불러봐. Say my name, say my name. Bass drop 더 높이 let it shake. 너도 모르게 빠져가. Say my name. Now turning back to late now. 너도 몰래 빠져들어 hush. 이제 멈추지 마. We don't stop. No fear, no shame. Say my name. 잊지 못한 내 face. 세상에 날 원해 crown on my head. 날 보면 모두 다 wow wow wow. Flash camera 다 click click pop. 내 vibe 마치 gold. 춤추듯 걸으신 빠르는 stepping. Tick and talk 시간이 흘러가.
And with a minute 30 left of half time,
Let's make it loud.
we've got officials coming back into position.
Rhythm 위에 춤춰 걷지 말고 follow. Let me hear you say. 이건 warning
And as a brief, I kind of feel like it's a Glee recap last week on. No, so we are going to be having breaking news starting this half on a power jam with blocker advantage. So exactly what they need. For those currently in-house here at Sprinters, Hawkeye has finished for the day on their Faces of Roller Derby project. For those of you who are coming tomorrow who haven't yet done the portrait-style photo for the Faces of Roller Derby project, please see Hawkeye tomorrow. It is likely to be the last chance in Victoria to be a part of the Faces of Roller Derby project. Jam refs getting back into position, other officials are getting into position. We have Banshees ready to go. Breaking news is sent out, Smiling Assassin for the power jam start. Nuclear Force out with lovely offense to try and help Smiling Assassin get through. Managed to break up the two wall. Freddie Mercury coming back on to form the tripod with the Banshees. Lead has been given to Smiling Assassin, who is already back on the scoring pass here. Fleabag through on initial. So 4 points there for breaking news. Taking the scores to 51 to 103 with the Banshees in lead. Bombshell jamming for the Banshees up against Dolly. Dolly trying to work the inside line there. Bombshell out at the front, getting through for lead. And Dolly resetting, making sure inside the line, running down the outside. Quick call off from Bombshell after picking up the 4 points. Stopping Dolly from picking up anything as they had managed to get out. High tens there from Bombshell to Fleabag, passing it on. So we have Fleabag up against Temper Tantrum. Fleabag with lead. Kay with the run back there for Temper Tantrum. The breaking news tripod has now really locked down. And Fleabag is now on a power jam as Temper Tantrum picked up a cut penalty there. Flea picking up 4 points. And it looks like the pivot for breaking news has also gone to the penalty box. Jammer back on track, so Tempe back in. Tempe Tantrum out on initial. Fleabag picking up another 4 points and then calling it off. So I believe that was a 16-point jam there for Fleabag. Taking the Banshees to 123, breaking news to 51. Smiling Assassin up against M-Dog. M-Dog getting lead. Quick offense being provided by Massacre Jones and Nuclear Force up. Smiling Assassin out on their initial. Quite a bit of call coming from the Banshees bench. 3 points picked up there before the call-off. So we have Spendy in the red up against Dolly in black. Spendy picking up lead. Beautiful offense there from the breaking news pivot to get Dolly out for their initial. For those of you who are currently in the venue, if your rego is ZCU069, can you please go move your car? Someone is trying to actually leave but cannot get into their car. Thank you. And now we've got a Bombshell up against Temper Tantrum. Massacre Jones holding Bombshell at the back. The Banshee tripod making it very difficult at the front for Temper Tantrum. Bombshell through for lead. Tempe now out on their initial. Lots of loud voices there telling Bombshell to call it off after picking up the 4 points. We now have Fleabag lining up against Smiling Assassin. On the inside line, getting lead is Fleabag. Smiling Assassin not far behind on their initial. We have M-Dog lining up against Temper Tantrum on the jam line. M-Dog getting lead. Great offense there from Raw Power, trying to get Temper through. M-Dog resetting after being knocked out at the front, calling it off. Only picking up 3 points for that jam. So whilst the Banshees are picking up lead more often than not, we're getting a lot of very quick releases there. So they haven't been able to do a lot of damage. And Breaking News has been definitely picking up and making sure that it's very difficult. Citrus up against Dolly. Dolly with a few spin moves, unfortunately getting hit out to the inside, whereas Citrus picks up lead. Slight blocker advantage now to Breaking News. And a great star pass there from Dolly to Nuclear Force out. Citrus calling out before Nuclear Force out could hit the pack, picking up all 4 points. So we have 4 blockers to 3 as Grim Reaper is still in the penalty box, but they are standing. Spenny on the jammer line, up against Smiling Assassin. Jonesy with a great draw back on Spendy. Princess and Frad making it difficult for the Smiling Assassin, who shrugs it off, comes out for lead. And I do believe we've had a star pass there for the Banshees, with Grim now with the star in hand. So I mentioned before the game, this is actually returned for a couple of skaters. Grim Reaper being one of those skaters returning from injury, Ali Mentor the other, but it's also Raw Power's debut. So Raw doing the reform at the front, trying to slow down Grim Reaper from getting through on their initial. Smiling Assassin calling it off, picking up 4 points there beforehand. Taking the score to 145 to 55, so 90-point lead there to the Banshees. We now have Temper Tantrum up against Bombshell. And then Harmer Miranda with the timeout with 5 seconds left. And while we've got this break, I'm just going to quickly go through some of our amazing officials. We have our on-skates officials, Murderface, Misdemeanor, Corey, Bossing Boots, Hypodermic, Richardy Grubb, Rexy Whistledown and Disaster Chief. And our non-skating officials, Muggles, Commander Chaos, Killer Curls, Buster Hammy, Delulu, Toots, OG, Panda, Abby Normal, and Frankenherder. So I do appreciate all the officials giving up their time to make Derby happen. And for those of you who have stuck around through the whole day, thank you very much. And to Eastvic for hosting today's round. Timeout is now over. Commander Chaos with the whistle. Bombshell through for lead. Temper Tantrum out on their initial. An attempt of hopping over a couple of people, unfortunately misjudged. So cut track given to Temper Tantrum, leaving Bombshell on a power jam. Intensive Claw Unit, Keza Kapow and detention, making it very difficult at the front there for Bombshell. Temper Tantrum back on. Jam being called off. And that was a 16-4 jam there. So we will be having a slight blocker advantage to the Banshees, as Nuclear Force Out is currently in the penalty box. Dolly up against Fleabag. Dolly on the inside picking up lead. Jonesy with the chase out the front, trying to stop Fleabag, but Fleabag on their initial. Fleabag not being touched, going through there, picking up 4 points. Dolly also picking up 4 points. Calling it off before Fleabag could hit the pack again, but also allowing the bin to be cleared there. So 4-4. $102-point lead there for the Banshees, 165 to 63. M-Dog up against Smiling Assassin. Everyone up at the pivot line. M-Dog picking up lead. Smiling Assassin managing to get past Freddie Mercury as the last blocker to pass, out on their initial. The dulcet tones of Harm and Bonnie yelling out call, call, call from the Banshees bench. M-Dog calling it off with 4 points. We've got some lovely pirouetting from Hypodermic in the middle. And we now have Spendy up against Temper Tantrum. Bit of a suck back happening there. Jonesy trying to get a drawback, but it was called a no pass, no penalty. So Spendy has picked up lead. Temper Tantrum still in the pack there. And Jonesy with the experience of knowing exactly where to position themselves to do offense to get tempo through. Okay, jam has been called off. So that looks like it was 4 apiece. And we have, that looks like Bombshell picking up lead. Dolly currently in the penalty box. Bombshell picking up 4 points. I didn't actually see what Dolly got called on, so can't tell you why it is a power jam. Bombshell picking up another 4 points. Dolly picking up another cut track there. Bombshell picking up another 4 points. Tripod of Banshees holding detention at the back, trying to keep pack. Bombshell picking up another 4 points. Dolly back on track, trying for a little bit of an apex there, not sticking the landing properly. inside the lines. Jam comes to its conclusion. We've just got the jam ref double checking. That was a huge 21-point jam there. And we now have Smiling Assassin jamming for breaking news, picking up lead. Fleabag stuck at the back, managing to get out on their initial two. Ooh, a little bit of jammer on jammer there by accident. Both remaining upright. Smiling Assassin picking up 4 points. Massacre Jones making it very difficult for Fleabag, hitting them out right as they were about to get through. Another 4 points for the Smiling Assassin. Raw power with the bridging, allowing the tripod to continue blocking a Fleabag right at the front. Good awareness there on the line by Smiling Assassin, resetting to make sure that they remained on track. So that was 12 points there for Smiling Assassin, up against 4 for Fleabag. Score is now 198 to 75, with just over 7.5 minutes remaining. Timeout called by Seeds for breaking news. Allowing the officials to have a bit of a chat and make sure everything's going okay. A timeout over. Breaking news taking the track. We have M-Dog up against Temper Tantrum. M-Dog out at front for lead. Ooh, Temper Tantrum almost out, got clipped by Grim Reaper and had to recycle. Now Temper Tantrum out on their initial. Jam's been called off. We have Grim Reaper going to the penalty box. I mentioned before that the track actually has no rope, so there are a lot of cut calls being made in this game, as it's just the line marking that they're going off instead of having that tactile. Dolly up against Citrus. Dolly picking up lead very, very quickly on the outside. And Jackrabbit holding Citrus at the front. And Citrus now out on their initial. And Jam getting called off. – 4-0 in that one. So Smiling Assassin, who is living up to their name, smiling all the way, up against Spendy. Spendy picking up lead. Very quick star stash there from Smiling Assassin, allowing them to get through on their initial. Jam gets called, and that was a, I believe, 3-point jam for the Banshees. Bombshell lining up for the Banshees. Temper Tantrum for the Breaking News. And I'm going to jinx stuff by saying all 8 blockers are currently on track. Bombshell picking up lead on the inside. Tempe following through on the inside to get out on their initial. Jam gets called. That looks like it was a 3-1 jam. Or was it 2-1? 2-1. Thank you, Corey. Corey Deering Rabbit hops for me. We have Fleabag up against Dolly. Fleabag picking up lead. And we've had a star pass. So Nuclear Forcer is now jammer for Breaking News. But Fleabag picked up all 4 points and called it off. So with just over 2 minutes remaining of the game, of the day, scores are 215 to 80. We have M-Dog lining up against Smiling Assassin. M-Dog picking up lead. Smiling Assassin right on the tail. Lots of chaos as people trying to jockey for position in a fast-moving pack. Both jammers through picking up points. Penalty assigned to M-Dog, leaving Smiling Assassin on a power jam. This will be a 2-minute jam. Another 4 points there for Smiling Assassin. M-Dog back on track, picking up 4 points. Jonesy with the drawback on M-Dog. Jam has come to the end, and an official review being called right on the last couple of seconds of the period clock. But that was a huge 22-point jam for breaking news. Absolutely amazing there from Smiling Assassin. We just I believe that was a 10-point jam there for M-Dog. We do have 1 second on the period clock. So technically there should be one more jam at the end of this official review. Bullseye is listening in for me. So hopefully we'll be able to tell you what's going on after everything's been finalised. So that was a Banshees official review, which unfortunately they have not retained. That was being called trying to get M-Dog out of the penalty box as jammer. They believe that it should have been a no pass, no penalty. Unfortunately, they did not get the review in their favour. So on the Power Jam start has been a temper tantrum. Both jammers are out, but M-Dog now has lead and is sprinting their way forward. Temper Tantrum picking up 4 points. Nuclear Force out, holding M-Dog. Getting some reinforcements there from Intensive Clear Unit, but M-Dog through for 4. Both jammers picking up another 4 points. M-Dog moving to the front, getting through. No pack got called. Everyone's trying to get back into position. But that has left an open line for Temper Tantrum to pick up their 4 points. Jam gets called. And that was a 12 points apiece. Okay, and at the end of the game, that was 237 to the Banshees, 114 to the Breaking News. That was a well-fought game by both teams. Some very, very, very tight block in there. Great tripods. I've been Judy Bench. Thank you for joining me, and be prepared for tomorrow. More derby to happen.